got no rules, I count 'em.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Live with Dr. Dawn. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn 𝗲𝗄𝗆𝗆, double board certified child, lesson, and adult and sports psychiatrist. I'm a two-time best-selling author, producer, public speaker, media influencer. I'm the sole practitioner of ADHD Wellness Center in Houston, Texas, with a thriving virtual practice, as well as a concierge practice, mental health athletics for collegiate, professional, retired athletes, as well as Olympian athletes. So go to 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀𝒀 Live with Dr. Dawn. I am so pleased to have you all here. Thank you so much for showing up. And I expect a big show out from my sorority, Dr. Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, because I have a beautiful soror, a big sister of mine that is our guest this evening. But before we get to her, go ahead and share this. Go ahead and share this with at least 2 or 3 people that you know. Let them know that we are live right now, because tonight we have another big show for you. So thank you, Soror Tanya, for coming in and tuning in to the live segment this evening. Again, let us know that where you're tuning from. Go ahead and share this again, and we're going to get started. Hi, Soror Michelle. Thanks so much for coming in to the live to this evening as well. All right. So I hope everyone is doing well. Hope you had a blessed week this week. All right. Hopefully that you all have gotten some rest this weekend, that you're still masking up, right? That we still physical distance, but we also are partaking in enjoying each other, right? That we're socializing and having a good time. So let me go ahead and introduce to you our guest for this evening. She is a beautiful friend of mine, you all. She's also, I said, my big sister, my soror, Dr. 𝗘𝗹𝗆𝗆 Elmore. She is an innovative physician, speaker, and health advocate who's dedicated her professional life's work to assist and encourage her patients and families to VIVA Life by prioritizing a healthy and balanced lifestyle. Dr. Elmore is a board-certified OBGYN, health care executive, and chief wellness officer for clients across the globe. While Dr. Elmore considers her practice VIVA Life Health Hub in San Diego as her home, she travels the world and sees most of her private medical concierge patients virtually. After graduating summa cum laude with a Bachelor's of Science from the Xavier University of Louisiana in New Orleans, our beautiful alma mater, Dr. Elmore completed her medical degree at the University of Chicago, Pritzker School of Medicine in Chicago on a full scholarship and residency in San Diego, California. Dr. Elmore also holds a master's in business administration, which she completed while managing her full-time medical practice, as well as her business, KOE Medical Consulting Incorporated. She's a powerhouse, y'all. Dr. Elmore is a high energy and dynamic speaker who grasps the attention of her audience and leaves a positive and memorable impression. Her life motto, which she shares wholeheartedly with her patients, is to educate, encourage, inspire men, women, and youth to VIVA Life, starting with their health. When she's not helping her patients, Dr. Elmore is giving back to her community, serving as an advisory member of the Logan Heights Community Development Corporation in San Diego. She also participates in humanitarian surgical missions and global education. Are you ready to learn how you can VIVA Life and be fulfilled? Because Dr. Elmore is definitely the perfect example of doing that. So I want to welcome you all and introduce to some Dr. 𝗘𝗆𝗆 Elmore.
Hello. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on, Dr. Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. It has been a long time coming because I asked you last year. I've been trying to plan this for a couple of months to get you on. So I know that we've both had busy schedules. So I'm so pleased to have you on. Thank you so much, Soror.
Of course.
And we have some beautiful people in the virtual space here to say hello to you. So Soror Tanya, Soror Michelle is here. Oh my goodness, all of XU is here. Hi, 𝗎𝗎, Soror 𝗎𝗎. So Dr. Elmore, I always like to start from the beginning. Yes. Can you please just, listen, I know there is much more to what I just read about you. Is there anything else you would like for people to know who you are about your brand?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thank you everybody for showing up. I do see Tanya Sloan in the house, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because she has been a number one advocate for me to help me get to where I am today. I am a shy Cali girl, so born in Chicago, raised between Southern California and Chicago. I have traveled the world. The only part of the world I have not gotten to is the continent of Africa, which I plan to get there. And not just travel, but actually live. And because I've had so many great and vast experiences across our country, as well as across the globe, I'm able to utilize that information to, like I said, viva life, which means to live your best life. And it's physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. Like you said, I am a baby of Xavier. I believe in the University of New Orleans. I tell all of my mentees to at least try to get there or do something there because that has given me a significant platform and network that spans the globe. And another reason why I'm here because of that. I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a daughter in a sandwich generation. I am a community activist, a global activist, really, and a veteran of the United States Navy for 18 years. I love what I do, who I do it for, and who I do it with each and every day. Today is Sunday, so that means self-care Sunday. So, I make sure that I get that in as well.
Woo! You a powerhouse girl. A powerhouse. Yes. And she is living her best life, Soror Tanya. I definitely agree with that. So let me ask you before we get into things, those are some beautiful, I need something, a neck accessory around my neck tonight because I don't have anything. Oh, and the earrings. Please let me know. Where did you purchase those from? Those are beautiful.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, Tanya Sloan, who is not only a dynamic attorney and someone that helps women negotiate salaries. So when I talked about getting to where I am today at the O6 level in the boardroom, having my own business, it came from her. And one of the things we've all noticed in the past 6 months specifically is that women that wear pearls have lots of power. So one of her businesses, I Am Power Women, and she, like I said, she's helped me with my negotiations, helped me with my, curriculum vitae, resumes, interview skills, and then also adding on to that, that when you walk in the room, you need to have something that represents the power that you are, humbly, but yet having that, dynamicness about yourself. So yeah, these are the pearls. And she will put on there exactly how to get to that today.
Please do. So you're, excuse me, Soror Tanya, please, because I definitely need to get a few pair of what Dr. Elmore is wearing. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. I would like to start from the beginning with you, if you don't mind. So you said you were born and raised in Chicago. Tell me about just growing up in Chicago and what that was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, the west side of Chicago is where I'm from the west side of Chicago. So if anybody knows about that, a lot of people who are from the west side don't actually leave the west side or get out of the west side. But you know what? I was raised by wonderful women who lived to be in their 90s and 100s. So that was my grandmother and her sisters. And they, even though they had maybe an eighth grade education, as well as my mother who had a high school education, my father unfortunately died when I was young, but that legacy that they left me was amazing. They taught me grit, resilience, to pray about everything, to listen, and to know that, yes, you come from kings and queens, and therefore you shall be treated with respect as well as you can achieve anything that you put your mind to.
Amen. Wow. Wonderful role models and beautiful, strong message to actually live by. And so when you're here, raised by these pearls of wisdom, how did that lead you eventually to choose Xavier as your school of choice?
Well, it's interesting because I knew that I wanted to be a physician ever since I was probably about 6 years old. It's not because I had physicians in my family as role model. I say all the time, I was called to the pulpit of medicine. And this is my calling. And I knew I would be an OBGYN when I was about 10 years old, watching KPBS, which is still on. So encourage your kids to watch. But watching KPBS and seeing a surgery of the first laparoscopic surgeries on women. And my mom walked through the door and she was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's a laparoscopic hysterectomy, Mom. And she was like, oh, okay, keep watching. And, growing up between the Valley of Southern California, the west side of Chicago, San Diego, being in high school there, I had some great mentors who helped me get to where I am. As a matter of fact, one of my wonderful mentors was vice president. She is a Delta, as well as one of the mentors that helped me get a lot of scholarships. She was the president of our local chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. But I had no clue what that meant. I really didn't. All I knew is I wanted to go to college. I had to go to medical school, and I had to get there. And one day I was a AKA debutante. We couldn't afford it, but my mom figured out how to scrape and scrimp money together to get my dress and my earrings and my pearls. And I was a debutante, and it's all about scholarship. It's all about service. It's all about making sure that we get young ladies and young men to where they need to be. And one of the young men, he wasn't my escort, but he was a friend's escort, and the debutante, he went to Xavier, and he came back after the first semester of his freshman year. He brought me the book, and he said, "You have got to go to school here." And I was like, okay. And literally from there, he told me all about it. He said, if you want to be a doctor, and then of course, Xavier starts sending you all this information about how many African Americans they put in med school. And I was like, oh, yes, I must go to Xavier. Had no clue. Went to Xavier sight unseen on a Howard Hughes summer program and never left.
Wow. Wonderful, Kelly. Wonderful. Was Xavier always the only option? I mean, were there other schools that you were interested in and that just kind of led you to attend HBCU, for example? Or, I mean, how did you navigate this journey of wanting to, decide?
I think just like everybody, I grew up watching The Cosby Show and A Different World. So you knew you were going to school. You knew, and then because Cosby was an OBGYN, I was like, oh, this is great. I want to have my own clinic in my house and do the whole thing. And I want to go to a HBCU. Of course, initially I was going to Hillman, right, which was Spelman, Morehouse combination. But then I, did my research, and my list included Howard, Spelman, and Xavier. And of course, the University of California schools. I did look at U of I because all of my friends from Chicago were going to U of I. But in my heart of hearts, I knew, because I lived in a predominantly majority neighborhood, that I needed to find who I was, and I needed to understand that I am a Black woman, and I needed to be in a place where we were celebrated, and I needed to be around smart Black people. And so when I went to Xavier and the young man told me about it, I was like, absolutely, this is where I need to be, and this is where I'm going to thrive. And thrive I did, along with the rest of my classmates and friends.
Yes, it's not ironic. I've had a few of our colleagues on the show, and they all say the same thing, wanting to identify who they are, seeing people who are like them, who are just inspiring, motivating them, and which led them to Xavier. And that's what they found in Xavier, just like you and I. So you come to Xavier, you go to Xavier, right? And here you are on campus. And what was that like? Can you tell me what a fond memory that you had freshman year at Xavier?
Yeah, I mean, I had so many memories. I played basketball since I was 6 years old, right? And I didn't go to Xavier on a basketball scholarship because I didn't think that I could play basketball and be a physician. I just didn't know how I was going to be able to do that. I had never seen anybody do that. So I actually I found my friends at Xavier, one at Howard Hughes, when all of us were in class together, and two on the basketball court. So during the summer times, I mean, I was balling with everybody. And there's a couple of our friends that are now surgeons and, GI doctors and stuff. And they're like, yeah, Kelly got game. And so I would literally like leave class and go ball in the gym. And I had my, long shorts on, my baggy shirt, my socks up to my knees, because I was really a little afraid of my own body. And that's a whole other conversation. But I was like, I want to be taken seriously, and you're not going to be looking at the wrong things. You're going to look at the right things, and that's that left hand with the jack.
I love it. And you put it on them, I bet you.
Put it on them.
I love it. Kelly, I know, let me see. Can you tell me any other fond memories? Like, I know there's so many favorite memories that you may have going to Xavier. What about Xavier is most memorable for you? And that can be more than one, of course, that you like to hear. Yes.
I would say starting from there, I mean, I started dating a young man who was very focused on academic and being social, but not too social. So he helped me learn how to just navigate college, because I was the first person in my family to go to college, let alone at HBCU. This is a, Black girl that's been in a majority high school. that's a lot going on when you have got a lot of good looking brothers around at all times. So you have to know how to carry yourself and not get caught up in the wrong situation. So it was a wonderful experience to have him guiding me. He also helped me because, you know what, I was used to getting like all A's and being the number one in my school, not just the number one Black student, but one of the number one in my school of 3,000 students. So coming to Xavier and seeing all of these people, I remember Dr. Daryl Rubin. He was a sophomore when I got there, standing up, getting an award for the 𝗪𝗪𝗪 scholarship. And I'm like, oh, I need to be like him. I had never seen a Black man that was smarter than me, ever. So seeing that at Xavier was like, oh, this is it. This is right. This is it. And then, of course, becoming a part of different organizations. So we had a X-Men. So X-Men, Xavier Men Against Rape, which myself and Dr. Derek Robinson were a part of. So because I had, and I said, I did live I did have some things going on in my life. So I was molested, I was raped. It was very important to me to go to a school and help people that have been in that same situation or prevent people from getting in that situation, whether that be men or women. And so starting that. And then, of course, the academics were amazing. I go to summer programs in the Hamptons, at NYU, because Dr. Carmichael taught us how to apply for these summer programs. Get to the University of Chicago, same thing. So, and then of course, I cannot forget, because this makes a huge difference in everybody's life, pledging Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Gamma Alpha Chapter Fall 95. I mean, talk about 56 dynamic women who are all still doing great things today.
Yes, you are, because you all inspired me. Listen, I come from the Deltas, but when I walked on Xavier's campus and I saw you all were just running just the campus, the community advocacy, everything. I mean, every position at Xavier possible, I saw a Delta represented. And that also was very inspiring for me to want to pledge collegiate chapter. And so, and you still to this day inspire me, especially Fall 95. I said that when Dr. Christie was on as well, that I really do admire your line for so many reasons, and still to this day. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing those wonderful things that you've actually provided for other students at Xavier, based upon your experience, as well as being an inspiration to all of us. Definitely.
Yes,
Can you tell me a funny moment, however, that you experienced at Xavier? That you
funny moment. Oh my God! I don't know if we had like funny moments. Well, I can say number one, you were saying my line sisters and I, we put on some amazing events, and I would say some of the funny moments are, I remember Dr. Slade, and she was our treasurer of our chapter. And I remember one of the times when we were having a party with the Kappas, and they tried to kind of, move us out the way and be like, oh no, this is a Kappa party. We're like, no, this is just a party, and we want half of that cash because we got programs we do. And it was Russia who was like, oh no. She was serious. She was like, oh no, I'm the treasurer, and we're gonna count this money together. So that was a funny time. And of course, in college, you all broke, right? So, or some of us where I was. I worked in the computer lab to make my little change so I could, pay my $5 to go to the party that was going on. And I just remember being there trying to figure out, how do we get to the front? How do we get in for free? And how do we have a great time? And it was always like that. It was like, okay, we go up to the front and let's figure out how to get in free. So it was a lot of times like that. But all of the time, I can really be honest, I only had one negative experience the whole time I was there at Xavier, and had nothing to do with anybody on the campus. I had amazing experiences. And even when I had a negative experience, everybody came out the woodwork. It was like, we are all going to make sure that we reach the levels that we came here to do. And that's what we did. We all reached these levels, and it's amazing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Simply amazing. So after graduating from Xavier, what was the plan for you? Did you have a plan right after Xavier? Tell us about your transition from Xavier to what was the next step? What was the next area of your life?
Yes, my life has been planned out since I was like 10. I mean, I started writing, journaling, writing down what I want to do with my life. And that's what I did. I said, Dr. Carmichael and the Xavier team in our biological sciences just set us up so well. You go to summer programs, you write your, essay, you take your MCAT. And it was scary. The MCAT was scary for me because I started realizing that I just wasn't as good at standardized tests as I used to be, and I couldn't figure out why that was. And then I got into the University of Chicago, Pritzker School of Medicine on a full scholarship. I chose to.
Wait, can you say that again, please? Because that is a rarity. My brother did that, and he was the only one. Now you're the second one. I mean, rare that I hear someone get a full scholarship to medical school. Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, absolutely. A full ride to the University of Chicago, Pritzker School of Medicine, which is so important because a lot of my friends have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in loans, and that is not what my experience has been. And I did that by taking on the health profession scholarship, which you can do Navy, Army, Air Force, you can do public health service. But my goal, to be honest, was I wanted to be the Surgeon General of the United States. And I chose the Navy thinking that I could get there doing that. And you actually have to be a part of the public health. But either way, I've still been able to be very successful in using that scholarship. So if I can tell anybody anything, choose the school you want to go to and find somebody to fund it.
Amen. So for my mentees on here, I'm actually doing a little a 10-second break. For my mentees on here, you heard what she said, all right? Whatever you want to do, whatever the next step in your life, if that's grad school that some of you are planning out to do right now, go ahead and find some funding, someone to fund this for you, just like Dr. Elmore has stated and has actually accomplished. That is so key. That is so key, right? And is that something that you learned like just by researching yourself, or I mean, I know you said none of your family members were actually physicians. I believe you said you're also the first one to attend college in your immediate family. Is that correct? Did I have that correct?
So yes, I was the first one to finish college, but go ahead.
To finish college, right? How did you find out this information, Dr. Elmore? I mean, what type of support did you have to kind of, just give you this knowledge to look for someone to fund your college? I mean, your medical school curriculum. So I'm sorry. I mean, that is.
Right. So undergrad was funded by me saving money all throughout high school, at Easter money, Christmas money, whatever money, it all went into the bank. 10% went to God, and then 10% went to, okay, you can buy something for yourself, and then 80% went into the bank. To the point that when a friend of mine needed $10,000 when in my high school year before I went to senior, I was able to fund that. When a friend needed a couple $1,000s to pay for their second semester of school, I was able to give it to them, and they, paid me back. But that's how diligent I was. High school, middle school, your life is about putting money away so that you can fund your education and your entrepreneurial experiences. Now, how I ended up getting the scholarship was I was literally flying on a Southwest flight back in the day when they had seats facing each other. And me being the savvy Xavierite that I am, sat in the business seat because, of course, that's where the people with the money sit. And I said, I was sitting there with three businessmen, and they're like, what do you want to do with your life? I was like, I want to be a doctor. I want to go to the University of Chicago. Oh, that's an expensive school. How are you going to pay for that? I was like, I don't know. Can you help me? And they literally said, we have friends that went to do the health profession scholarship, and they did it. They paid for it, and now they're out making, doing well as physicians. And I said, please sign me up for that. So that's what I did. I went back to Xavier, went right down in New Orleans. There's a recruiting base down there. And I said, Kelly Elmore.
Love it.
And then I told three of my line sisters, and they ended up doing the same thing. So, we all did the right thing there.
And not only did you make an oath to whomever you served during the time, you made an oath to yourself, right? I mean, that is kind of just a wonderful gem, as 𝗎𝗎 said, that you're dropping. You made an oath to yourself that this is something that I've actually have intentions on doing and fulfilling. And sounds like you've done it, huh? You fulfilled that goal.
Absolutely. Growing up, I just knew that I wanted to, one of the things is I wanted to move back to the inner city where I was born. I wanted to change that. I wanted to buy the block and I wanted to put school there, and I wanted to put a health clinic there, and I wanted to change the lives of young people that were from that neighborhood, which the west side of Chicago, where we're from, is pretty significant. It is a hard neighborhood to be from. And although I didn't live there my whole time, my family did. And I wanted those same experiences. And even though I haven't been able to go back and buy that block, what I'm able to do here in San Diego with my husband, with his nonprofit, is doing exactly what I said. We have created a preschool. We are buying up property and real estate and investing into the community. We're helping with small businesses. We are, helping with education. And we live in the community. I didn't run away from the community. I live in this community. I serve this community. And I am bringing every gem and every ability to advocate right back to the community where I live.
Wow. Amen. You can make me tear up here. Because I know for me from Flint, Michigan, it's my dream to actually be able to follow in those type of footsteps, right? To go back to where you're from and really just give back. And that would be my way of give back, with mental health initiatives and in schools and education and resources. And so you and your husband are collaborating. So you all own a business, is that correct? And you all are this is how you're able to do that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your businesses? I know you've told us a little bit, but what was it your idea, his idea? What was the initiative to come together and do this for your community? This is amazing.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I've always been involved in the community, whether working at a nonprofit when I was in high school to help with battered women. And he is actually prior military. He was in the military for 18 years. He was very focused on community development. So he was the director of the Boys and Girls Club. With the church, what happened is the church we started going to, or I started going to when we were dating, which is Bethel Memorial AME Church, there was a nonprofit that was not very active. So he took that portion of it. So it's called Richard's Place. And essentially it helps Black men or men of color with HIV have housing so that they can continue to live their lives well and to progress in the community. He went from that, and then he assumed the nonprofit for the church. And then what we did was we ended up creating our own nonprofit called Logan Heights CDC. And the reason why I say our own nonprofit is because when your spouse runs a business, you are very much involved in that business. I'm very much involved. Initially I was an angel investor in it. And I know it sounds funny to say you're an angel investor in your husband's business. And it's like, yeah, because he, basically did not enjoy his primary job that he was doing. And we decided at one point, I was like, you're going to quit that job. I'm going to do the full-time thing, and you are going to work on your passion. And it has paid off so beautifully. All the things that we're doing, LoganHeightsCDC.org, in COVID, his team has just, I'm going to say probably 1,000%, in what he's been able to do, raise money, grants, what we've been able to do in the community, rental assistance, getting people like almost $2 million in loans, and that's by helping them fill out applications. So the same thing we help kids do, getting scholarships and things like that, filling out applications, helping small businesses. And because it's in a predominantly Hispanic community, a lot of people can't read the information. They know what they need to do, but they can't read the information because it's not in their primary language. This is crucial. And then also be able to help take care of their kids. Their kids are in a program where they learn, it's a STEAM program. And so they're learning. My son, we created the program because my son needed education in early childhood years. We created preschool. But when your kid comes home and tells you not just about Martin Luther King, but tells you about, NASA and the pilots, because there's a lot of military people, the pilots come in and let them dress up and teach them how to simulate flying planes at 3 years old. Really? Yes, your children are well on their way. So cradle to career, development, everything.
Cradle to career. Lord have mercy. And I love your passion. Cradle to career. I love that.
Cradle to career. Let me TM that for everybody that's listening to that. That's a TM. Trademark.
Yes. Trademark. You got a permission. That's what that means. Okay. Exactly. So Dr. Elmore, you are an actual officer. I heard you say that you're in the Naval Academy, right? Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Are you able to tell us about what you are or what your officership is in the academy? Or
So I'm not in the Naval Academy. That is a very prestigious school to be able to go to, and I chose to go to the other one, the University of New Orleans. However, I did with my scholarship join the United States Navy, and everything I say is from the perspective of Dr. Kelly OMD, so I'm not representing that, but I do recommend that if you have the opportunity to join the military services, I recommend it highly. I mean, for the education, for the leadership development. And like you said, I am an '06 captain in the United States Navy, and I am 0.0014% of when you think about that. Okay, so Black, female, physician, captain. There are not a lot of us. I think the last number I heard of just all Black captains, female captains, is 48, and there's thousands of people in the military. So hundreds of thousands of people actually in the military. But I say that all to say that there is opportunity. If you raise your hand to learn, there are people around you that want to see you succeed. And if you put the time, the effort, the perseverance, get the education, and take the opportunity, you will achieve what you need to achieve so that you can make a difference, not only in your family's life, but everybody else's life.
Amen. What percentage was that again?
0.001.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Talking about being intentional, having a plan at age 10, and being intentional about where you want to go and learning along the way what it took to get there and actually doing it. Actually doing it. But first, you have to.
A lot of that is saying it out loud. A lot of people are like, oh, don't tell anybody what you want to do and all that. Please, I don't believe in that at all. When people go up to kids and they say, what do you want to do? And that kid says, you want to be a doctor, we'll help them along the way. When they say, I want to be in the Navy or the Army or whatever, then show them to the recruiter that's going to recruit them into being in a higher level position, and use their knowledge and their skill to that highest level. So yeah, we got to open those doors. We got to break down barriers. I'm all about breaking through concrete. I'm not playing.
Woo! Chills, everyone, chills. Can you tell us who is in your inner circle, Dr. Elmore, and why? Why is it important for these individuals to be in your inner circle?
Right. So of course, I think of a circle, you know, I kind of think of it like a planet, right? So you have these, or Saturn, you have these rings around the planet. And here comes my lovely husband right now. Hello, honey. He just got a big grant, so he's like there working on it and trying to come in and strategize. But I think about it as a circle. If you notice anything about me, everything is about threes. Right. So my inner circle before I had my son was my mom, my best friend, and my husband. Right. Before I had my husband, it was my mom and my line sisters and my grandmother until she passed away. So there's always threes. So now I think of my inner circle as, yes, my core family, but then also because I have representatives from each aspect of my life. So whether that be 𝗘𝗵𝗆 sorority, or that be, you know, the Black Infant Health program that I work with, or my people from Pritzker, Xavier University, or my people from, you know, the United States Navy. There's always one representative that's in that three that helps me get to where I need to go next, or to survive and thrive in where I am right now.
I love that. Yes. So can you also let us know or tell us how have they supported you and to help you achieve not only your personal goals, but as well as your professional goals?
Right. So what they've done, so for example, my husband, he has always worked full time, but he may not have been financially working full time, if you understand what I mean by that. So bringing in the finances, right? So what we had to do was say, okay, this is where we're going to be. And he would, when I had to work overseas or be overseas, he had the kids, right? He had the baby. And him and his COO or our good friends, they would take care of the family while I was gone. So if I was overseas for a month, a year, whatever the case may be, GO bachelor, that's what happened. And if I am like my mom, she lives with me. She's 81 years old. She has her own channel at 𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗢𝗍. And she is a prayer warrior. She is a meditator, a journaler. She is a blessing. I mean, she blesses the house, the whole thing. So I speak with her. You know, I talk with her. She is my guide. She is my wisdom. So I do that with her as well. As well as my best friends, like my best friends from Chicago. I mean, you talk about branding, making sure, like, I didn't know how beautiful I was, to be honest. I might get a little emotional about this, right? I didn't know I was beautiful because nobody acknowledged that. And it shouldn't be that somebody acknowledged that, but she brought out that beauty in me, right? And she helps me glow and she helps me put all of this together. And when you meet people and you just say, you know, I want this office that everybody's looking at. This is by a Black woman that was my prayer partner, right? Lisa Gant, 𝗊𝗂𝗪 She put this together. I said, Lisa, I just need something that represents who I am, purple and gold. You know, Beyonce in the background, Viva Life. And she was like, I got you. You don't even have to tell me what that is. You know, my mentors like Dr. McDade from University of Chicago. I mean, he was an MD, PhD, a whiz, you know, and he just always opens doors. Anytime I call him, he does that. And then my midwives, my nurses, my colleagues on the board, it doesn't matter. It's like, we are here to help each other be successful because when I'm successful, my community is successful. My patients are well taken care of. My family is taken care of. And we can spread that around and through so many different things. So that's how they help you. They love you. They tell you when you're wrong. They tell you when you look good. They tell you when you don't. They sit under like Tanya Sloan's and type in stuff for you. All that.
So for the young people out there who are finding their people, starting to find people in their circle, right, away from their immediate family or their immediate friendships, they're off to college. Are you saying that these are people that shouldn't always agree with you? Is that what you're saying? I mean, how do you find the people that are right for your circle? What has been your experience?
My experience has been through prayer and meditation. Listening to my mother. I'm just gonna be honest. Listen to your elders because most of them, you know, if they're telling you the right stuff, listen to them. And then also go with your spirit, right? I can probably walk into the room and I can connect with people very easily. And you don't have to be an extrovert. I know people are like, oh, she's an extrovert, she connects. No, you can be an introvert. You survey the scene, you survey the room, and you feel that spirit. You see what people have, and then you observe. And that's what I've done with almost all of my friends. I have hand chosen my friends because I saw something so amazing in them that I said, I have to do that. I have to be like them. I have to be next to them. And honestly, it has not steered me wrong.
Wow. Thank you so much for that beautiful pearl of wisdom. I think a lot of people need to hear that and be reminded of that. So thank you for sharing that. Dr. Elmore, what goals and dreams do you have for the second 50 years of your life? I love the question. I love that.
Right. Yes, the second 50. And the reason why I say that is because my family tends to live to be about 95 to 110 years old.
Yes.
So literally I have to think that far out.
Right.
So for the second part of my life, VIVA Life Health Hub is it, and I'll explain a little bit about what that is. It is the healthcare aspect of the community development. You cannot be successful if you do not have good health. And that good health has to be not just physically. So yes, exercise is very important. What you put in your body is extremely important, but mentally and spiritually and emotionally. And I know, Dr. Dawn, that is all in your wheelhouse. So with VIVA Life Health Hub, what we try to do is what you're doing right here. We're bringing to the forefront the practitioners or the clinicians that are experts in their field, and we bring that to the community. And in doing that, we allow people to be able to connect with people and role models they never would be able to. I have a dermatologist that comes to the community that diagnosed cancer. This was a volunteer effort. You would not be able to get a dermatologist in a Black or Latino community just on a volunteer basis. But because of my network being so significant and helping each other, that's what we do. So in that second life, it's more of that. It's more of the education. People need to understand why they're dying at 3 to 4 times the rate as a Black woman in maternal fetal health care. It is about making sure that we're in the boardroom. So people have heard about, you know, boots in the boardroom. So I got boots, I got clogs, I got heels. Yes, we all coming. we're coming and we're going to be there and we're going to help you do better by your organization and business, because when we're there, we help you make more money and we help you be more socially aware. The other thing is, like I said, the nonprofit growing. It is expanding, and we need to support those nonprofits that are boots on the ground, that are making a difference and putting our kids in those positions on your boards so your companies can make more money. And also just continuing to encourage people to do that same thing, physically, mentally, spiritually, and by the health in every aspect of their life. So that's my goal. And in the end, I will be sitting on a beach somewhere, looking at the beautiful sunshine, living my best and healthiest life at 100 years old. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I'm praying to God that I'll be blessed to join you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Talk about 100 years. Yes, we share the same lineage in that sense. So I love that. So is it too late, Dr. Kelly, for people to live their best life, VIVA life? Let's say you have a 50-year-old woman who's had multiple medical, conditions. She's, trying to control her chronic diabetes, high blood pressure, maybe a little obese. How can she live her best life with your help?
Absolutely. It's never too late. Like I said, my mother is 81 years old. She tried to die on me three times. And what, it was because of, transitioning out of the workforce, never having retired before, and at 70 years old, wondering like, what do I do with my life? What is my purpose? Parkinson's disease, trying to overcome that. And then probably some depression or sadness associated with all of those things. But you know what? We sit down. So for the 50-year-old woman out there, number one, you need to write down your goals. Just like I did when I was 6, what I did when I'm 20. 5 days ago, same thing. Write down your goals. What is your purpose? What is your why? Start with your why. Why are you here? You will hear that in your spirit. You will hear that in your meditation. Number 2, see where all those chronic diseases are. It's okay that they're there, but let's go ahead and take some steps to address those. Get your blood pressure cuff. I handed out over 150 blood pressure cuffs from a grant to people of color here in San Diego. The reason why is because most people don't even know what their basic blood pressure is. If your blood pressure is over 130, over 80, we need to fix that. So let's address that. The diabetes. Let's start talking about what we're going to do to clean-ish eating. So cleaner eating. Let's talk about that. It's not that you have to throw everything out and everything away. You can't ever have it. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about getting together those community groups, whether it's through your church, the YMCA, out at the park. I have 3 different health coaches. So I work out with all of them because they motivate me. Let's get you into that. I have a YouTube page, VIVA Life Health Hub YouTube page. Every morning, 5:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, I'm on there encouraging, educating people to do what? Exercise. And it doesn't have to be, so significant. Let's start small. And I think that's the biggest thing. Take every single thing bite by bite. It's a big elephant with trunks up, but that doesn't mean you can't take bite by bite to get where you need to be.
Perfect. You actually inspired me to get up earlier. I also encourage my patients to start their day earlier, especially those with ADHD, just because of our minds and how they're built. But you actually personally inspired me, and seeing your videos. I mean, you are so consistent and you just make it simple. You don't, sometimes people find it overwhelming of this list that they have to want to accomplish and what to address first. How do I go about doing it? Everyone is different. So who do I talk to? Who do I look at? And I love your videos because they're very to the point, direct. I mean, you break everything down so simplistically, and it's achievable. It's achievable. So wherever you are on that spectrum, anyone can listen to you, watch you, and being able to accomplish their own goals. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing. Please keep continuing because we are watching. We are watching. Yeah, definitely. Definitely watching. Is there anything that you've experienced in life or any pearls of wisdom that you would recommend to any young scholars listening?
Yes. Number 1, like I said, write it down. Write it down. And you will achieve it. I promise you. Every single thing that I have written down, put on my vision board, my wall, my purple book, which is something I've always kept, it has happened. And the reason why it happens is because, like you said, I get up early. It's kind of like LeBron James, our rest in peace, Mamba mentality. My mother, same thing. Get up. First of all, get sleep. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I've always been a sleeper. My friends, even from high school, know, like, Kelly, go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock. No problem. But I'll get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning as well. Get up and make yourself the most important thing that day when you wake up. And write down, what am I letting go of? What am I forgiving and releasing, so that you can bring in what's positive, so that you can bring in that positive energy, so you can see what you need to do on a daily basis so you can do it. The other thing is, don't let anybody tell you that you can't. That is not even an operative word. I can do all things. And if you believe in God, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you don't, I can do all things because I believe in me.
Hey,
And
ooh.
each and every day, and keep people around you that have that same thing. People that truly love you will say, you might be going off in the wrong direction, you're diverting. Listen to that, because the people that love you want to see you succeed. The people that you don't, like my best friend, twin line sister, Dr. Christy Gooden McGee said, control, alt, delete.
Woo! Say that. I love these power punches here. Yes, it is, Aunt Cookie. It's very powerful. Your messages are very powerful. I'm telling you, they're very straightforward, direct. I love how you break things down in 3s and 5s, and it's very simplistic and it's achievable. It's achievable for someone who is listening and needs some type of direction of where to begin. So thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything that you would change about your journey? If so, what could that be?
I would have invested money earlier, and I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have been afraid to invest in that money. One of the things, like I said, my grandmother is amazing. My grandmother and her sisters only had 8th grade educations. You're talking about being born in 1908 and died with over $1 million to disseminate to her children. A Black woman. Tell me about that. So I wish I would have, and I mean, she used to keep ledgers and everything. So that's one of the things. I wish I would have sat down more times with her to understand, how do you open up an investment account? I remember Dr. Eric Whitaker, who is a giant in the space. He said, you just need to go to E-Trade and open up. And I was like, but where's E-Trade? So I went to, local bank and opened up something. It wasn't the best decision that I made, but, you know, so now what I do is I listen to Earn Your Leisure. One of my young mentees told me about something called Earn Your Leisure. These men are balling. They are telling you the real business. And I'm like, I listen to them. I do essentially what they say. I invest my money. I don't spend a lot of money. I spend things I like, but I don't spend a lot of money. And I invest my money, everything. So if I could change one thing, I would say I would have asked somebody to sit down with me and show me exactly step by step how do I do this. But then the other thing, I did listen. I listened a lot, so I'm much farther than I would have been, but not as far as I want to be.
Wow. So good listening skills, planning ahead, making sure you save your money. I love these pearls of wisdom because that is so important. That those who are looking for again direction and trying to start or even trying to restart, how they go about doing those things. So you and your husband, I want to ask you this, are entrepreneurs. And so if there's any other couples or even those who are single wanting to start a business, especially at a time like this, they may have the time, they may have those, the resources to be able to do that. Where would they start? Do you recommend that they find someone in the kind of their field? I mean, how did you all go about wanting to do this particularly?
Right. So I definitely think that you find mentors. Just like if you want to be a doctor, go find a doctor. If you don't know how to find a doctor, reach out to somebody like myself or anybody that's been on your show, because I think you've had more doctors than anybody. Reach out to them and say, how did you do it? So with the small business, and I tell my mentees this all the time, I have people that want to start nonprofits or anything like that. LoganHeightsCDC.org is a great place to start because all of those people in there started their own nonprofit, essentially. We also have a small business development course that is free that you're able to attend. I also have a business coach, so attorney Alexis Hart McDowell. So she is Enterprise Esquire. She is a business coach that I'm utilizing right now, and I'm utilizing her not only for my personal business, but what I do on a daily basis. Like, everybody has a side hustle and like what pays the bills, right? So it's helping me in both ways. So starting there, and then of course your small business association. But if you're a person of color, I would like to actually try to get to a community development corporation and reach out to the lawyers, the doctors, and the business owners in the area. So we have a Colombian restaurant. We have a El Salvadorian restaurant. If you want to open a restaurant, go talk to one of them because they are making significant changes. So find those people, ask them questions, pay them whatever it is that they require, because sometimes there's money that has to be in that. Don't be afraid to do that, because what you're going to get in return for the knowledge that they have is going to be amazing. And most people are not going to charge you for 15 or 20 minutes anyway.
Amen. Dr. Elmore, is there anything else you would like to share about you, your journey, your businesses, what's next? Please share that with us.
Yes, I would like to say that I know that there's a lot going on between the Me Too movement, between racial disparities, but no, those are things that do not have to hold you back or keep you back. I'm a prime example of somebody that experienced Me Too herself. I'm a prime example of somebody that has experienced racism, bias, discrimination. But you know what? But God and but self. Because always putting the thought that I can achieve anything that I put my mind and spirit to is going to make you achieve those things. Find and put people in your sphere that are going to help you elevate at all times. Find and put people in your sphere that are going to tell you when you're veering off. The other thing is follow me on Instagram, Dr. 𝗘𝗹𝗆𝗆, as well as VIVA Life Health Hub, and you can go to the website as well. I love what I do, who I do it for, and who I do it with. I am always encouraged, inspired, and empowered by people like you, Dr. Dawn. So thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show, and thank you everybody that's watching.
I don't want this to end, but I respect family time. I know it's Sunday fun day, and you don't probably have enough time off. So thank you so much for being on the show. I mean, again, it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting for this evening to come because I wanted people to know you like I know you, and I've learned even more about you this evening. I mean, you're just a phenomenal woman, a phenomenal person. You all, she's a captain, she's a physician, she's a wife, a mother, a leader, a speaker, entrepreneur, a motivator, inspirer. She's everything that, any of us would inspire to be. Dr. Kelly Elmore, thank you so much for being on the show. You all follow her, please. She actually gave her IG information here. I'm going to actually post that up again so you can follow her because she moves your body in the morning, gets that blood circulation moving. I mean, she is just phenomenal. She makes it look easy. And at first it may be difficult, but it becomes easy when you continue to
Well, just keep on saying what we do every morning, which is we say, Viva Life. That's what you got to do.
Hashtag Viva Life. Kelly, can you just tell us a little bit? Can we end on that? Why did you pick hashtag Viva Life as part of your brand?
Yeah, so essentially because I love the Spanish language, and in my mind, I'm Puerto Rican and Black. And that's because of the influences that I had growing up. And in Spanish, Viva means live, and life in English is life. So Viva Life, that's exactly why we chose that. And it says nothing more than what everybody wants to do, which is live their best life. And that's what I want people to do. You can't be sick doing that, so I'm trying to help you be healthy physically, spiritually, emotionally, to live your best life.
Amen. We're going to end on that with a standing ovation for Dr. Kelly O. Elmore. Thank you so much, Dr. Elmore, for joining us. And we will definitely continue to live our best life because you've been a wonderful role model and for us to be able to fulfill that for ourselves. So thank you for joining us again. All right. And everybody, please go ahead and follow Dr. Elmore. Again, I'm going to put her information up here. You will not regret it. Her IG there is Dr. Kelly OMD. That's DrKellylYOMD up there. And then her website, VivaLifeHealthHub.com. Phenomenal website that tells you all about what she's doing, not just as a professional and as an OBGYN, but also for her community. Wonderful photos of what she's done for the community as well on the website. Dr. Elmore, thanks again.
Thank you.
And thank your family for us as well for allowing us to have some of that time of theirs this evening. Right. And you all, thanks so much for joining me for another Live with Dr. Dawn. Please share this with everyone you know, especially those who have mentees. I know many of my mentees are on here now or will be seeing this replay. They've been waiting to see this evening. So thank you so much for joining. Everyone, I know I didn't vocalize your name, but I definitely want to make sure I put your comments up here, not just in support for Dr. Elmore, but just to make sure that your presence was known this evening. And please tune in tomorrow with me for a special Live with Dr. Dawn on IG. That's going to be at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm actually going to have a discussion with one of my friends in London, England, who has ADHD and is a huge ADHD advocate in London, England. So tune in at 12:30 Central Standard Time. That promo will go out this evening. Share that with everyone you know. Thanks so much for this evening. Enjoy your rest of your evening and have a good day. And I will talk to you soon. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Danke für alles. Das sind keine Zeilen, die ich sing. Ich sing, um zu zeigen, wer ich bin. Ich sagte, wenn ich will. Ich rap bis auf die Knochen, wenn ich will. Alles gibt an, hier und da geht's ganz hin. Sag ihnen, ich hab's geschafft, alles was ich planke. Ja, muss Wien und den Mix, ja, wir.
I'm Alex. I'm 14 years old and I have ADHD. Here's what having ADHD is like for me. When I'm in school, I have a hard time paying attention for a long time. So if my teacher is giving a long lecture, I often can't stay tuned in. My mind tends to wander. I have trouble staying quiet in class, so I fidget and squirm a lot. And I get distracted easily. When I have a thought or an idea, I feel the need to share it immediately. Oftentimes, without thinking, I'll cut people off or blurt things out. This annoys my teachers and my friends. And when I'm at home, and my mom or dad asks me to help out with something, I often get started, but I forget to finish. Or I get sidelined and I'm off doing something else. It's frustrating for everyone. I know it's not my fault. They know it's not my fault. It's my ADHD's fault.